I got to tell you, Gavin Newsom really blew it on the stage when he was talking about his SAT scores, and it is what we call the bigotry of low expectations. He's talking to an all-black audience, and he's like, I'm just like you. I'm dumb. I'm dyslexic. I can't read. I can't. That's how he's bonding with people of color, because that's how Democrats think of them. They think of them as people who need the help of government, who cannot rise on their own without somebody like Gavin Newsom and liberal policies helping them rise up. That's the mindset. That's the problem right there in a nutshell with the Democrat Party. He's right there in a nutshell. Nicki Minaj said it perfectly, but first I want to play you the clip so you understand exactly what we're talking about here. And Gavin looking all smug, crossing his legs in that weird way that he does, where he just crushes his, family jewels. I don't know how he does it. And he's talking on this book tour, got this book out, and he's going all over the place. He's doing interviews everywhere. And part of this is the fact that he loves talking about himself. The guy is such a freaking narcissist. He loves the sound of his own voice. He loves to tell his stories about his own struggles and how he was able to endure and overcome. And, it's like, get over yourself, man. But and so he's here with his mostly black audience, and he proceeds to say this.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
That'd be fine with me if you got out of this business, if that's what you're thinking. I think we'd all be fine if you did something else with your life, Gavin. You got the podcast now and everything. Nicki Minaj put up a tweet, and I think she summed it up quite well when she says his way of bonding with black people is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. This means my first read on him was correct. He's been handled so many things and put in high positions he never earned or deserved. Handed so many things. Do you want to know the craziest part of this footage that will haunt him forever? He's literally slowing his speech down and talking in a sporadic cadence. He's not just telling them that they're all probably stupid and probably can't read. He's literally slowing down his speech to make them understand the words that are coming out of his mouth, as if they're children. That means he really believes they're slow. He's not just saying it. He didn't misspeak. He believes it. Do you love it? Do you just love it, black people? That's Nicki Minaj. Now, that's why this is not a blunder. It's a disaster. And I changed the title because originally I'd put Gavin Newsom's racist blunder, but it's not a blunder. I think after I read Nicki Minaj's tweet, I thought of it differently. This is how he has come to view black people, people of color, as the left calls them, that they need a handout. They need government to help them. They need somebody to come in and swoop down and save them, because it is the bigotry of low expectations. And that was revealed in the way that he was speaking, in his cadence and everything else. Now, he's not taking this lying down, by the way. He's already gone on a furious Twitter tirade. And that's because Sean Hannity put out a tweet calling him out for his racism. A lot of people called him out for his racism. This blew up the internet, as you can imagine. Because for this, it's that very reason. It's like, oh, I'm just like you because I'm stupid. Yeah, and then and Gavin wrote back, you didn't give an S about the president of the United States of America posting an ape video of President Obama or calling African nations S-holes, but you're going to make me racist for talking about my lifelong struggle with dyslexia. Spare me your fake effing outrage, Sean. That's because Hannity said, thinks a 960 SAT makes him like black Americans. Let that sink in. Now, let me analyze a little bit of Gavin's approach here. I'm going to show everybody I'm an alpha male. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curse. I'm going to use profanity. I'm going to get really, really fired up. and show you that I'm a big guy, tough guy, because I'm going to drop some F-bombs and tell you to go blank yourself and S you and F you and blah. And this is Gavin Newsom's act. Because everything Gavin Newsom does is an act. I've been saying for years he's a political shapeshifter. He'll be whatever he has to be, and it's all an act. So his theatrics now are to try to be the Democrats' version of Trump. So he does a very bad Trump impression. The difference is he throws in the profanity. You see, Trump doesn't really use a lot of profanity. I mean, every now and then in a speech, like he'll throw something out there, but for the most part, his social media posts, like he obviously called Tim Walz the R word, which, you know, I mean, it's not profanity, but he's not big on dropping like F-bombs and things like that. Newsom is trying to out Trump by dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and everything else with your fake effing outrage, Sean. So you see what I mean? He's trying to show you that he's the toughest guy in the room. He's the big guy in the room. He's the alpha in the room. This is his little thing. At the same time, he's telling Dana Bash, though, that if he runs for president, it'll only be if he gets the blessing of his children. So the tough guy who curses like that and swears like that, and I don't know what kind of a role model that sets for his children, but nevertheless, his children and only his children will be the deciding factor on this Blizzard Monday of whether or not Gavin Newsom, well, blizzard for some parts of the country, not all the parts of the country, not in California anyway. It's a different kind of blizzard there. That is a blizzard of people fleeing the country, but we'll get to that clip next. This is him telling Dana Bash, you know, it's really going to depend on what my children think.
Address that issue.
Last question. What are the metrics that will determine whether you run for president?
There's 5 of them. Dutch, Brooklyn, Hunter. You get the drift.
Want me to help you name the rest of your kids?
No. But the biggest one is Jennifer. So,
exactly.
It's going to, look, this book was dedicated to them. I wish this was a book my parents wrote.
Do they want you to run?
And it's going to be, I don't know. It depends on the day. And my son, Romy, it was very powerful, texted me a few months ago when there was some headline that suggested that I had made some decision. And he goes, Dad, are you running president? I said, no, we'll do the decision as a family. He goes, you can't. I said, why? He goes, I'm too young. You need to spend more time with us. I mean, how do you deal with that one? I screenshot it. I have my phone. I'd show you.
How do you deal with that one?
Exactly. I'm asking you. Come on.
What do you do?
I'm not running for president.
No,
it's
that's the point, and the point is the point. And so what matters is what matters.
But you see, America, if I have to sacrifice all of that because I've got to save this country, then I'll have to do it. And I can already hear the speech. And it was my son who said, Dad, you have to, because you have to save our country, and only you can do it. So I have to do it, America, even though it'll mean spending less time with my son, who texted me and said, Dad, don't do it. He's now said, Dad, you have to do it. I mean, it's the most predictable movie plot ever. Like, you know that's coming. That's why he's just laid that seed, so that he can turn around and tell everybody that, well, my son has looked around at Trump's devastation and how he's destroyed America and said, Dad, only you're the only one, just you. I mean, is he the only one who could do it? I mean, what about like his buddy Kamala Harris, for example? What if she runs for president? Why not step aside for a woman? His wife, Jennifer, was just out there talking about the war on women. So I'm just wondering, I mean, if Kamala runs, shouldn't he step aside for Kamala Harris because she's a woman? So wouldn't that be a war on women if the white guy doesn't get out of the way for a woman? I'm just saying, but it doesn't sound like he's going to get out of the way for a woman. I'm just saying, here you go.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
You write about the fact that you've been friends with her for a very long time. You came up together, and you talk about your parallel careers. Yeah. She was prosecutor, California DA, and senator. You were San Francisco mayor, lieutenant governor, and governor. What happens if and when those parallel careers intersect and collide?
Well, I'm San Francisco now. She's L.A. So we're
talking about
a little bit. There's a little distance between the two.
Not what she means, Gavin.
That's fate will determine that. And I've never gotten in the way of her ambition, ever. I haven't. I don't imagine I would in the future. But I don't.
Well, if you run against each other for president,
that's fate. I don't know. See, you can only control what you can control. I think this entire book is that fundamental lesson. And
back to the book.
And this notion of controlling what you control and taking responsibility for what you control is a big part of what I try to communicate in this book. That's the third thing. It's like how this book will be received. It's the third thing. I can't control that. I can't control whatever decisions she makes.
So now he's Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins. He's just now let them, he's now ripping off that whole concept. I can't control any of that. But wouldn't it be a war on women if you, and wouldn't you be standing in the way of her ambition if you were to run? I mean, theoretically speaking, but this is about selling books. That's why he's on this book tour. And Dana Bash did ask him, a lot of people are fleeing California. A lot of people are fleeing, they're leaving California, and it's awkward because they're leaving. And I guess Gavin can't control that, but I guess he probably should control that because a lot of people are leaving California. And, I'm just saying, if you're like me, I would think you would say probably maybe it's my policies, maybe it's me, maybe it's me, but maybe not. I don't know. I think we have that one, right, Jared?
California has the highest cost of living in the nation. The state's prices are 11% higher than the national average. We were actually out to dinner here in Nashville last night. We met a couple from California. Yeah. They moved out of California because they couldn't afford the rent or even to buy a home and also start a family.
Yeah, we've had hundreds of thousands of people move in California the last 2-3 years. We've seen population growth. As you know, we moved from 6th to the 4th largest economy in the world, and we dominate now in every key industry, from AI, quantum, robotics. We dominate in ag. We dominate forestry.
But people are struggling to afford things like your mom was.
Yeah, people are struggling because of your blank policies. And now billionaires are fleeing the state, and Hollywood's fleeing the state. He's already destroyed Hollywood. They're gone. And every day, more and more people announce that if the billionaires tax goes into effect, they're getting out of California. Because he put in a millionaire's tax, and that's the dirty little secret nobody wants to talk about why nobody makes movies in Hollywood anymore, because the stars don't want to live in California anymore because they have to pay a lot of money. It's like the winner of the Super Bowl, whatever the team was, they got to pay a lot of money because that's where the game was. It's going to come to me.
It was a bird. You predicted
Dolphins.
You predicted it. Seahawks.
Seattle. Yeah. Wait, a mariner's a bird?
A Seahawk is a mariner is a baseball
Seahawks.
Team. Seattle Mariners play a different. Keep
Jared,
the phone near you for that WIP phone call there, Rich.
I was going to say, you've been in broadcasting a long time. You've been program director. You've been many hats. Do you think I could ever get a job in sports talk radio?
I think knowing who won the Super Bowl this month, when you're still in the same month, might be a prerequisite. Might be.
Maybe I just have early onset dementia. Is that possible?
Also, no, here's the thing. What people don't know is I wanted to do a show where people taught you sports ahead of games. And you didn't want to do it because you knew that you would feel like this moment for a whole podcast every single week. And you didn't want to live in that, which I totally get. But it was a good bit. It was you and Spike Eskin, and he was going to explain to you why this game was important and what you would watch for.
I remember that. And I probably would have really botched that game, but
you would have learned something
without question. I might have. I did watch the hockey game yesterday. I did watch that. Yeah, that one. That's easy. That one I got.
There you go.
I can nail it. USA, baby. Yeah.
USA also won
Canada,
the Super Bowl. USA won the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. See?
Canada is now asking to become the 51st state, Jared, so that they can be good at hockey again.
It's a sad day.
See that? Sad day for Canada, because that's all they have is hockey. Like, they don't have hockey and beer. That's really all they have, and like a moose. That's not. They don't have much. But
no, I've been there.
The men's hockey team, amazing stuff, and we do have great dentists in this country, including Dr. Mike Veneria, who texted me yesterday to say, "Hey, listen, I will definitely fix Jack Hughes' teeth for free if he wants." And I said, "You got to get on that, Dr. Mike, because he is the best of the best. Veneria Dental, he powers this hour for us, and he's the man. Jack Hughes on Team USA. You know, this moment yesterday when the men's hockey team. So first of all, I went to New York. I did Fox and Friends weekend. Got to sit on the couch. It was really cool. Did Charlie Hertz news thing with them, which is really fun. We posted some clips on social media for you if you would like to go and see those. And then I didn't realize the hockey game was even on because I wasn't paying attention to the Olympic schedule. Right. And then everybody's talking about it. I'm like, oh, is the hockey game on later? Like, it's the gold. It's 46 years ago today. The Americans beat the Soviets in Lake Placid, you know, the Miracle on Ice. I was like, that's a movie. I saw that movie. Like, well, it's actually based on a true story. It really happened. Wow. Okay. Now, you know, the things, you know, and I got married in Lake Placid. So I actually did know that really happened there. We actually went to that place where that hockey contest took place. It's a very fascinating thing. And we all remember Kurt Russell's great speech from that movie.
Hockey contest.
It was
like they were in a drawing. Like they were in some sort of sweepstakes at the mall. Like
it was a battle between the Americans and the Soviets for domination over hockey, with the Soviets claiming that this would prove that they are the superior, basically, race, and the United States in the middle of the Cold War saying that we can beat them, even though, but I just reduced it to a contest. The famous line in the movie when Kurt Russell says, remember, it doesn't matter the name on the back of your jersey. What matters is the name on the front of the jersey. Don't forget that. And that's USA. But we needed this yesterday. We did. We needed this. It was great. It was fantastic. Jack Hughes. I love this guy. I love his patriotism. I just felt like it was what America needed. We were all nice to each other on social media yesterday for like 5 minutes. It was amazing to see. It really was. Until people were like, whoa, are the women going to get invited to the White House too? Yes, President Trump specifically said he was going to invite the women's hockey team to the White House too. And there's people were like, well, the women's hockey team didn't get this kind of attention. It's because the men have not won since 46 years to the day when the Miracle on Ice happened. That's why this was such a big freaking deal. Plus, we beat Canada, and Canada's supposed to be superior in hockey. This is kind of why it mattered. It was a big deal. But anyway, it was a great game. I watched the whole thing. Here's Jack Hughes on winning. So he would go on to say America's got great dentists, and he's really happy about that. But I just want to put up a graphic for you because, as usual, like I said, we were nice to each other for 5 minutes. And then after the 5 minutes happened, then people started again because the president called the hockey team to congratulate them, which of course you would expect the president of the United States to do. And Kash Patel was there hanging out with them and drinking a beer. So then this graphic from, I believe it was The Nation, I think it is, right? This is, so MAGA, it's Axios, embraces hockey gold medal with latest swipes at Canada. And it goes on to talk about how people were making jokes at Canada's expense. Yeah, we were, because like in any other sporting contest, you tend to make jokes about the losing team. So there were a lot of jokes about it. I mean, Dave Portnoy couldn't control himself yesterday. He was going crazy about the fact that Canada has nothing. They've got literally nothing. And all they had was hockey. And now we just took that away from them. And of course, I was making the joke that now they wanted to become the 51st state just so simply they could be good at hockey again. They could claim that they're good at hockey. So now they're asking us to make them the 51st state. But it became political, but we're not going to let it be political because it was just a great day for America and a great thing. And here's Jack talking about great American dentists because he lost 2 front teeth.
Know about this game?
Just, I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world, and we got great dentists there too. So I'm lucky I'm American, and they're gonna fix me right up.
Right. Standing there listening to the anthem, what's going through your head?
Just so proud. I'm so proud to be American. I'm so proud of this group. I'm so happy that we could win. You know, we have so many people here supporting us. We have so many people back home supporting us, and you know, we're so thrilled with how this whole tournament played out. And, you know, just an unbelievable moment for USA Hockey.
There you go. Great stuff. It really was. It was great stuff. Everybody's very happy. Everybody's very, very proud. The team's going to be, the president invited them to the State of the Union address tomorrow night. And then, of course, for a White House visit. And he invited the ladies team, too, because they also won the gold medal. So people can calm the blank down. But these guys are playing Toby Keith's some of Toby Keith's country music, including, you know, that famous song he wrote after 9/11, you know, and the, I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but somebody in the YouTube chat will tell me the name of that song. And then it'll come to me. I'm telling you, I have early onset dementia. That's what I think it is. No, you know what happened? Here's what happened today. We had this blizzard, obviously. I went out and shoveled. I have this heart thing now called myocardial bridge, and it causes these vasospasms. And my doctor, Dr. Joanne Mazzarelli, wonderful doctor, cardiologist, might be related to another Mazzarelli. She gave me nitroglycerin pills to take if I get the vasospasms. Now, I shouldn't be shoveling, but I did anyway. And I had to take the nitroglycerin pills. And I think they make me a little lightheaded, Jared. So I think that maybe messing with my memory today. So if that's the case, that's the reason why. Okay?
Hey, Rich.
That's the reason why.
Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, I think is the song you're thinking of. But I noticed that your memory
Yes.
stuff didn't kick in until you started talking about sports. Like, you should ask Dr. Maz, one of the Dr. Maz's about that, because it seems like maybe that's like maybe it's related. I think.
Maybe my mind shuts down the minute that a sports conversation occurs to protect myself.
Gotta watch that hockey contest Sunday. It's gonna be on live.
It's a defense mechanism. My body just automatically, brain just shuts down, so I don't say anything stupid.
You start like cold sweats. Like, oh God, this is gonna be great.
Mr. Zeoli, this is an involuntary reflex. If you can't control this is your body trying to protect you from yourself. Okay.
I really enjoyed you criticizing Gavin Newsom about his everything is about him, and then you're like, I wasn't even supposed to shovel the snow, but I went out there and I did it. And the doctor said not to, but because I'm a man. I braved
the snow with my wife doing most of the heavy lifting and me right behind her doing the fake lifting. But I'm a man, damn it.
I got him.
Let me tell you about my happy place, which is not talking about sports. It is the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. And I love the fact that we're talking about the Grand Hotel because that means two things. One, we're going to be back there for live shows this year. And we're going to do a couple live shows. And number two, it means it's spring and summer are on the way. I'm really excited. Live shows are going to be back in 2026 at the Grand Hotel. And we're going to record the show. And I'm actually going to be on for 3 hours that day and do a full afternoon style show, plus a meet and greet and all the other things. So it's going to be great. But in the meantime, if you're looking to book a wedding, all right, I want you to reach out to Caitlin, my buddy, because she is the 2025 South Jersey Face of Weddings, certified wedding planner. She's amazing. She will help you plan the most beautiful, magical, wonderful wedding of your dreams. And we got a lot of stuff with the kids coming up. Spring break, Easter break, all these breaks coming up. Take them to the Grand Hotel. Trust me on this. Indoor heated pool, 84 degrees inside at all times, beautiful, and saltwater pool, super clean and big. And the kids, there's an arcade there, restaurant right on site. They got family rooms and they got packages. So from March 29th through April 6th, say 2 nights, you're going to save 5%. 3 or 4 nights, save 10%. 5 or more nights, save 15% off regular rates. Breakfast included in all the packages. They have guest rooms, suites, and townhouses to accommodate family gatherings of all sizes. You'll love it there, but you have to book direct with them to get these packages and to get the best rates. Okay, so right there, grandhotelcapemay.com, grandhotelcapemay.com, my happy place. I look forward to seeing you there in 2026. We haven't announced the dates yet, but Bruce Springsteen has. He's announced the dates for his concert tour to save America. Now, Bruce is going all in on trying to save America from Donald Trump. He's going all in on this because that's what Bruce Springsteen has to do at this time because he can't just freaking retire. He's bringing the cavalry. According to this Nation article that came out, Bruce Springsteen is bringing the cavalry. The boss's most political tour yet will go from Minneapolis to Washington. Almost a quarter of a century ago, in the second year of George W. Bush's miserable presidency, so you obviously know that the nation is a leftist rag, A campaign was launched to draft Bruce Springsteen as a candidate for one of New Jersey's U.S. Senate seats. Polls showed that Springsteen would be a viable contender, and volunteers were ready to circulate the petitions, put his name on the ballot, and send him to Washington. But the musician thwarted the drive, announcing, "If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve." You know why he wasn't going to run? Because it would have been a big scandal. It would have blown up. It hadn't blown up yet, but it would blow up in a few years, that he was claiming he was a farmer. He has this massive property in New Jersey. It's got 160 acres, and he would be paying all this money in property taxes, but he was pretending like he was a fake farmer. And then they actually had to change the law because he and Bon Jovi were both pulling this little stunt. So the thing about this is he's one of those guys that advocates higher taxes, but then he tries to avoid paying taxes, which is why I always call him Old McSpringsteen and the EIEIO band, Farmer Bruce. And so Bon Jovi had honeybees, and I think he was selling blueberries on the side of the road or something like that. But then they had to change the law because it was obviously being taken advantage of by guys like this. I have no problem with people paying less taxes. I just have a problem when they're advocating me paying more taxes, and then they tell their accountants, figure out a way that I can pay less. And then they turn around and go, "I got a great idea. How about you raise freaking bees?" And it's like, all right, that sounds great. So now the question is, as he travels the country to fight Donald Trump in his most political concert yet, and how is it going to be free? Because that's the question you're asking. Is it going to be free? Will ID be required? Will you have to have a ticket? Will there be guards? Will there be entrances? Will it be open to the public? The answer is, and I don't know, but let me pull up an article from Variety and we can see if we can get the answer. How much are Bruce Springsteen tickets? The promised, the promised land, the range is $87 to $3,007 with nearly row by row variations in between. $87 to $3,007. Now, he's doing this in large measure to protest Trump's handling of immigration and ICE. My question, and I got to ask it, is will there be a border wall of some sort keeping Springsteen from the masses? Or can anyone come in? Do you need some sort of a document, like a ticket, which they don't have physical tickets anymore. You have to use your phone. So there's that privilege too. You need to have a phone, obviously. Then you got to pay the money, $87 to $3,000 to be able to then go in. There's going to be security. You got to go through that. Then you go in. You still can't touch Bruce. You can't go up to Bruce and touch him or hold his hand because there's going to be a lot of guards there to protect him from the promised land. So he's going to get on stage and go, you know, that Donald Trump, I can't stand the way he's keeping America. It should be open to everybody. Why doesn't you open your concert up to everybody, you cheap bet? Why don't you do that? Huh? Make it free. Everybody's welcome. Put it outside, lawn seats, no problem. Well, because we don't have enough space for everybody. Oh, we don't have enough resources for everybody. Oh, we got to make sure we know who's there so we have public safety reasons. Oh, I mean, like all the reasons why people would enforce immigration law, for example. Just saying. And as far as affordability goes, who the hell can afford to attend a Bruce Springsteen concert? Because I guarantee you the $87 tickets are already being resold on StubHub for like thousands of dollars. I guarantee it if that's the case, if you're able to scoop one up. But his Promised Land tour, so I can go on stage and I can tell everybody, blank ICE, blank Trump, blah, blah, blah. And thank you for paying thousands of dollars to be here and passing through multiple security checkpoints. Maybe he'll take a little inspiration from one of the Democrats in California who would like to be, this is Katie Britt now. I'm going to play are we going to do the uncensored version, Jared?
Yeah,
is that the plan?
Let's do it. Let's get weird.
All right. I'm going to warn you, earmuffs, in case the kids are there. This is a snow day and they're home from school. And I don't know if they're going to be home from school tomorrow or delayed opening. Haven't got the call yet. So I'm giving you the earmuff warning. All right. But I want to tell you how crazy Democrats are, because I know Bruce is going to get on stage and say F Trump and F ICE because he's done it before. So you know he's going to do that in his Promised Land tour. Here's Katie Britt. This is the Democrat convention in California. This is a woman who would like to be senator, governor, has very high ambitions. This is the one who, like, didn't she throw like a Boston cream pie at one of her staff members or something, or like a chicken at her husband's head or something? What did she do?
She is known to be one of just the worst people. The two stories are many stories, but the assistant was cutting in the background and she was like, I'm working here, like on a call. Right. The other one was that I think she burned her husband with something, like to your turkey or whatever. But the reason this all came out was she wouldn't answer those questions with that journalist. And she was sitting there, and the journalist was like, and here's the thing, was that it wasn't, all of those other things came back up because of this, where the journalist asked her, like, what do you want to do for California? And she was like, I don't have to be questioned like this. This interview's over. Like, it was like awesome.
She got up and walked out of the room. I think she threw like a chicken at her husband's head or something.
She burned him, I remember. Like it was a really, I don't remember that. I wish I remember that story right now, but I love.
First of all, I'm shocked that she even has a husband. And is anyone in the YouTube chat they gave us the name of the song. All right. If anyone in the YouTube chat knows what Katie Britt did to her husband.
Britt burned her husband with.
Or threw a chicken at his head or whatever it is, will you let us know? Please. All right. I would like to know that, if you could do that, please. That would be very helpful. So here's Katie Britt at the Democrat convention in California, totally sane, totally rational. Here you go.
Simple, powerful message that we can all agree on. Say it with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right. Fuck Trump.
God. I told you, earmuffs. Don't get mad at me, especially you, Sue Alberici. Don't get mad. I warned you, but that's how crazy these people are, okay? That's the level of outrage we're talking about and the level of intellectual discussion that they're showing. So just like Gavin Newsom with his, go blank yourself to Sean Hannity, this is how Democrats are acting. And the reason for it is because they think they can out-Trump Trump. That's what they think. So they're all doing bad Trump impressions, but then they're adding in the profanity. So they're taking it to the next level. If you were shooting a movie and you're saying, okay, do a Trump impression, and the director came in, it was like Martin Scorsese or somebody was like, yeah, but we got to, or Quentin Tarantino, but we got to throw in some F-bombs here. All right, because we're going to one up all this. So you got to throw in some F-bombs, some S-bombs, and we're going to F Trump and F ICE and F all these things. And that's what you got to do because you need to one up him. You got to show everybody that you're the toughest. And that's what Democrats are doing. And it's such a bad look for them. It really is. It's such a bad look. And it's not just that. They're also threatening to go after us and go after companies, anyone who works with Donald Trump. So this clip went pretty viral over the weekend. Former Obama advisor Susan Rice. She's on the boards of many very powerful companies. And, she's outright threatening that when Democrats get back in power, they are going to come after anyone who supported this president.
If these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, play by the old rules and say, oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired, all the policies and principles you've violated, all, the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming. I think, whether you're a law firm, whether you're a university, whether you're a media entity, whether you're a big corporation, whether you're big tech, you need to play a long game, not this short game that has been so detrimental.
Oh, Katie Porter, not Katie Britt.
Agenda. Companies already are starting to hear they better preserve their documents. They better be ready for subpoenas. If they've done something wrong, they'll be held accountable. And if they haven't broken the law, good for them. If they've done the right things, good for them. That also will be noted and remembered. But this is not going to be an instance of forgive and forget. Right. The damage that these people are doing is too severe to the American people and to our national interest.
All right, so. First of all, thank you to Richard in Walla Walla, Washington, for correcting me. It was Katie Porter, not Katie Britt. Katie Britt is a beautiful Republican senator, totally the opposite of Katie Porter. Like Katie Porter looks like she would eat Katie Britt. But this Susan Rice clip is very telling here. How they will go after these companies and they will audit them. And we saw this before with Lois Lerner in the IRS, if you remember. Weaponize them, go after them. It's a very powerful message that they're sending to these companies, which is that we have not forgotten about the weaponization. We're going to bring it back on steroids if we get back in power. Now, luckily, we probably don't have to worry about them getting back in power anytime soon if the candidates are either Gavin Newsom, who insults black people by talking down to them and is like, I'm as dumb. He's basically pulling a Steve Martin from The Jerk. Like, I was born a poor black child. And, and this whole, but the other candidate that everybody's talking about, of course, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. Now, if you're dealing with this winter storm, if you're dealing with this blizzard, if you were out there bravely shoveling the snow like I was, even with my myocardial bridge, risking my life to fake shovel behind my wife, so it looked like, so every time she turned around, I was like, whoa, look at this. I just kept snow on the shovel and I would just lift it like a prop, basically. It wasn't even snow. It was actually cotton. And I would just hold it up every now and then. Like, look at this, honey. Yeah. But if you're wondering why the snow doesn't melt, well, let's have meteorologist and chief climate scientist who had also warned us that we shouldn't be here right now as the world was going to come to an end, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, explain how snow melts.
I've seen one or two questions about people complaining that the snow is still here from the last storm. And what are people going to do about it?
Right.
And I'm starting to wonder how many of you know how snow works and know about at what temperature snow melts. And at this point, I might be calling Sauron, telling him not to close schools on Monday, because we got to be open in the schools, you guys. Snow does not melt at 20 degrees. Okay, I need us to get it together. I know it's bad that more's building up, but please know that this is nature.
Right. I thought it was climate change, actually, but now it's just nature. So snow doesn't melt at 20 degrees. Good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for belittling us and being condescending. I think what people are talking about is the city moving the snow, which you can do even if it's 20 degrees. You can move it with big trucks with plows at the end of them. You can, I think that's actually what they're talking about. Not that there's giant melting machines, but they do have this thing called salt and sand, and they mix it all together and they do this brine thing, and then they throw it on, and then that actually helps speed up the melting process using something called science. What do I know? I mean, I'm just saying, I guess the only way to do it is to just wait till it hits 33 degrees, which is the temperature by which water starts to unfreeze. But until that time, we have no methods whatsoever to get rid of snow. None whatsoever. We're just stuck with it, I guess. So all these people selling rock salt and calcium chloride and all these other things, fugazis, these people are selling you a scam. Do you understand? There is no way to melt this until it hits 33 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever it is Celsius. I don't know how to convert, but you get the point.
0.
And damn it, I knew it.
That's the only temperature you should know. It's Celsius. 100 and 0. That's the only two you need to know.
I was so close to guessing that.
It was. Sorry. I'm not normally the Celsius correct guy. I don't know what the rest of the numbers mean, but I know that one. I'm sorry.
I was this guy, I almost had it. Ugh. But all these people are selling you a lie. Big rock salt. It's all a lie. And all these plows that go by and they spit out all this stuff and they move all this snow with their shovels and none of it really works. It's all an optical illusion. Okay? You'll have to wait until it hits 1 degree Celsius. See what I did there? Yeah, that's what I did right there. Let me tell you about Tri-County Toyota and Tri-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. I have another clip of this idiot, which I'm going to play in just a moment. But they are a wonderful sponsor, great friends, and I'm so excited that they are back to support Travis Manning Foundation again. That's how I met the Kriegers, actually. Went to dinner with them. Bridget and I did with Brian and Cheryl, and we just had a wonderful time, lovely people. And I'll be leasing a car from them when our lease is up in May. And I'm excited about that too, because the process is great. The people who are there are great. The deals they have going on are amazing. It's Ram Truck Month. Lease a new 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn for $415 a month for 39 months. And they have Toyota Truck Month all month long at Tri-County Toyota. You lease a new 2025 Tacoma four-wheel drive double cab SR5 $239 a month, or buy and get rates as low as 3.99%. You can check out a new 2026 Tundra four-wheel drive Crewmax SR5, lease that for $479 a month, or buy and get 2.99% financing, great financing, or $3,000 cash back. Just go online to tricounty.com. Their dealership is right off 422, Limerick, Exton, King of Prussia, Collegeville, Jersey, the main line, Philly, easy to get to and worth the trip, because you're never going to get any pressure. You're going to get the absolute best deals, best rates. They are the official car sponsor of the Zeoli Show and podcast. So please go to tricounty.com. And remember what President Trump said? He said, buy Toyota because they're making more and more cars in the United States. But I got to tell you, today, after I bravely shoveled the snow, which won't melt till it hits 33 degrees or 1 degree if you're doing the Celsius conversion, I took my four-wheel drive Jeep and I got out of the driveway and I brought my son to go sledding with his buddies. And I was able to do that because I was able to put that Jeep Wrangler in four-wheel drive. So I'm just saying, keep that in mind as well. Tricounty.com. Tricounty.com. Here's the other idiotic clip, Alexandria. So when she was on the world stage and she stumbled out of the gate on the question of China and Taiwan, I said on America's Newsroom, I think it's over for her. I think that answer will haunt her forever. I think at some point there'll be a campaign commercial that's made. It's 3 a.m. There's a phone ringing in the White House. Madam President, China's invaded Taiwan. What do you do? And it's going to be the clip of her going, stuttering out of the gate and saying, this is long policy. It was horrific. I forget the geographical thing. I mean, most people make geographical mistakes all the time. Like that won't haunt her forever. But that stumble out of the gate on the Taiwan and China thing, 100% will. Mark my words. It'll be Democrats in the primary who will use that against her. It's not like you have to wait till the general election. They're going to go after her now. But she's put out a video. And do you remember the classic line, George Costanza, when he said, "You're giving me, it's not me. It's not you, it's me. I invented, it's not you, it's me. I invented, it's not you, it's me." Well, AOC is giving you, it's not me, it's you. It's your problem if you thought she sounded like an idiot on the world stage.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks and doesn't care about the implications of his words before he speaks on matters like these. And in fact, if you actually look at what Trump said about this issue himself, he actually had the same, if not a worse, answer. So ask yourself, why do you think the issues turn to that? And I'm going to tell you, it's because frankly, there are very few people who are actually willing to challenge the foreign policy establishment that continues to send people to war and bankrupt our country for the rich.
Is she like sitting on a whoopee cushion or something? We can't figure out what that sound was in the background, but I don't think Fox News added it.
I think it's either dog snoring or phone vibrating on the table.
Wait, what's vibrating on a table?
I mean, that's a pretty, that interval says to me phone. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about her.
Now that you say it, though, we have seen people throwing certain objects at ICE, right? Like the ones they threw at the WNBA games. I don't want to say the word because the kids, earmuffs, but I'll say it vibrates and it's a toy. You know what I mean? Could maybe that was, is that maybe?
Doesn't make me like her any less.
It actually makes you like her more, Jared. Let's just
as if that was
be honest. But something's vibrating in the background and I feel like it needs to be fixed. I'm going to go with dog snoring just so that I can sleep tonight. All right? Go dog snoring and not. But either way, that answer is just a terrible answer to blame you for her idiotic answer rather than come out and say what she should have come out and said. And it's like, listen, complicated. And I took my time to think about it. And it was, I wish I'd answered that question better. And, in the future, I'm going to make sure that I take the time to think through these foreign policy questions before I go on the world stage. And I'm still learning and blah, blah, blah. And people would have forgiven her for that, but because she would have been honest. And even though she was overly prepped, I think that's part of the problem from prepping candidates. I think she was overly prepped, but instead to go out there and belittle you for thinking that she sounded ill prepared on the world stage, that you're the problem. See, that doesn't work with people. People don't like that. They'll excuse and they'll get it, even if you're self-deprecating. Like, I had this whole great answer planned, and then all of a sudden, I just forgot it. And in that moment, I just completely forgot. People they'll forgive and forget and move on, and then maybe even lessen the damage. But actually, she escalated the damage because not only do you have to contend with the fact that she stumbled out of the gate with that horrible answer and that 20, 30-second pause and the ums and the ahs and everything else, and then just a terrible answer on what to do about Taiwan and China and the policy. Then she turns around and blames you for interpreting her answer as her not knowing foreign policy. So it's your fault. You're the problem. You're the problem. And, I'll tell you something else too. People in New York, you're the problem that you're stuck with Zohran Mamdani. Like, you are the problem. The same way you're stuck with AOC, who's not from the Bronx, by the way, not from the Bronx. But she was out there endorsing Mamdani. Now, he's talking about a big property tax increase. These residents in Queens are now speaking out following Mamdani's proposal to increase property taxes, and they're saying, hell no. Take a listen.
To the mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Amen. I hope that this administration hears us loud and clear that we will not allow 9.5% increase in property taxes. No way. We won't allow it.
What did you guys think you were going to get? See, this is what I don't understand. I mean, there's an old saying, you get what you vote for. Elections have consequences. You guys elected a socialist, a communist, who promised everything free grocery stores, free buses, free everything, and wanted to tax the wealthy. And it was said during the campaign on many occasions, he can't raise income taxes. That's not a function of the mayor. That requires the governor and the legislature in Albany to do. And they're not going to do that. And people still voted for the guy. And he still won. What did you think he was going to do? Other than try to raise taxes in the manner in which he can raise taxes, which he has the ability to do through property taxes. This should not be a shock to anyone in New York City. And look, I don't know particularly if those guys voted for the guy, but they're like, respectfully, your fellow New Yorkers did this by electing this guy. It's the same problem that you see around the country when you vote for these radicals and you turn around and go, I don't understand this policy. For this by now, of course. He's requiring ID to show up to I talked about this with Charlie Hurt. And I said, I imagine that the only people that will be able to show up are white people. But here's the part that I want to focus on with you right now. Mamdani said we're hiring these emergency snow shovelers, bringing forms of ID. There were all kinds of great jokes made. Jimmy Fallon made a great joke that blew up everywhere. It's Jim Snow 2.0. Great joke, great line, very funny. I want to focus on this part with you. Mamdani's explanation for why he's requiring all this paperwork. Take a listen.
There's been this controversy over the snow laborers and the sort of what some see as onerous need to have documentation. Can you just talk about if that's new and what you make of the controversy?
This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. And these are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many, it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Okay, so the guy who's going to openly defy ICE is not willing to openly defy the federal government when it comes to people getting jobs. I want to ask another question too. If ID is so racist, why are we tolerating the fact that only white men and unmarried women are able to get employment in this country? Because we've heard it's Jim Crow 2.0. We've heard that it's a secret plot to overturn the 19th Amendment. Why is nobody talking about the fact that you have a right to work in this country? So if it's so hard to get identification, and obviously only white men are getting ID, and they're the only ones working in this in America, why aren't we addressing that issue? That seems to me to be a glaring absence in this conversation. If it really is so difficult to get ID and people need to feed their families and work, shouldn't we deal with that? Shouldn't we have that conversation? But it also exposes the fact that, and earmuffs, their excuse is pure bullshit. They know that it's easy to get ID. That's why black people work and women work. And they know it's all a bunch of, when you shine a light on this, it completely and utterly falls apart. It falls apart because it is very easy to get identification. And Mamdani's not standing up there and saying, actually, you know what? It's so racist to get ID. It's such a challenge and it's wrong. I'm not going to ask for ID. Show up, bring your shovel, and no ID required. I'm going to defy the federal government. Let Trump come and arrest me. I mean, he could do that. He's defying the federal government on all these other things. He could do that if he wanted to. Be a rebel, be a big socialist rebel. Say, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to say, but when it comes to handing out checks, that's a different story. That's a little different than suddenly now that ID requirement, we can't overlook that one. Voting, oh, that's different. But you see, there's no, these Democrats, they absolutely 100% know you can get an ID. They know that everyone can get an ID. And so the idea that we have in this oppressive system in America where millions and millions of people are unable to work and feed their families, I feel like that would be a bigger story. You know what I mean? I think that would be a story in and of itself as we examine the millions and millions and millions of Americans who Oh, yeah. Well, I'm back. Well, I guess it must be all the people who are home. I don't know why. This is Comcast Business Internet. It's supposed to be flawless, Jared. Doesn't seem to be flawless to me.
Honestly, it might be me. I don't know what's happening, man. It's back.
Yeah.
Here.
I don't know.
Take it home and honestly, maybe I got to get the Comcast business. I think I'd like to
Maybe
apologize.
you. Maybe it's you. It's not
Honestly,
me. It's you.
Today,
okay, I'm
I
going to
think
pull an
it's me.
AOC.
Today,
Yeah.
you heard it wrong. You heard what I said. You should, because of what you think it is.
Okay, if the problem is me, it's actually on you to fix the problem it's on your end, you. Okay? Got it? Good. But I hope I've made my point. If millions and millions of people of color and women who are married are unable to work in this country and get employment to feed their families, I feel like that would be a big story. I think it would lead the news that these racist ID laws are keeping millions and millions of Black Americans and married women from being able to get a job and feed their families. I feel like that would be a story, but what do I know? Thank you so much for listening to the show. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, live from the White House on Wednesday, by the way. And check out our special podcast special with Dr. Victoria Coates as well. Make sure you download that and give it a listen. Give the podcast some love, too, if you like. Give a nice review. Just saying. And only say something nice, baby. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. All right. So would you do that for me? I'd appreciate it. At Rich Zeoli Show, and just search Rich Zeoli wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like it. You'll be my best friend. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Let's go.